Hello everyone, Namaste. We are again back with our next chapter. I am Vinayak and here I am sharing with you a PPT. I am sharing with you, that is our next chapter is manufacturing industries. So in this we are going to learn about the importance of manufacturing and its role in the country, how it develops our economy, that we are going to learn in this. So what is manufacturing? First of all, manufacturing is the process of making a raw material into finished goods for our consumption. That is called manufacturing. So now production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw material to more valuable products is known as manufacturing. That is a simple definition of manufacturing. What are the examples? So simple examples are sugar from sugarcane, cloth from cotton, paper from wood, iron from iron ore. So what is the common thing we are observing here? Here sugar, cloth, paper, iron, they are the basic raw materials for manufacturing the finished product. That is, these are the finished products from the raw material, that is sugarcane, cotton, wood and iron ore. What is common we find here? Sugarcane, cotton, wood, iron ore. All the raw materials are, almost all, they are obtained from the natural resources. They are obtained either in the form of agricultural sector or in the form of ores, that is what we find in the crust of the earth. Now what is the need for manufacturing? Needs of manufacturing is the economic strength of a country is measured. So when we manufacture goods, they are sold in the market and all the consumers buy it by paying some amount, and with that amount whatever the profits are divided into the traders, manufacturers and everyone, and we are paying the taxes to the government, and that goes as the income of the country. So that's why it strengthens the economy, and economy of the country is measured in the terms of manufacturing and development of manufacturing industries. It is the backbone of our economy. It is considered as the backbone of our economy. They reduce the dependence of people on agriculture. See here, most important point is the manufacturing industries are reducing the dependence of people on agriculture. How? Today, when a farmer is doing farming, what he requires? Water, okay, many other tools, insecticides, pesticides, urea, like that, many of the things they require. So when they are requiring that, what they are doing? They are depending on the industries. How? Like tube wells, bore wells, motors, pumps, pipes, then tractors for plowing and sowing and harvesting. They are using all modern instruments and tools, machines. All these are from the manufacturing industry. And for the industries also vice versa. The same way, raw material is given from the agricultural sector. So that's why they are both interdependent to each other. and also they are providing jobs. Industries are providing jobs for many people, whether they are skilled or unskilled. Unskilled people will be trained in that, and skilled people, they work for the industries. Export of manufactured goods, the surplus goods after our consumption, even that can be exported. And once we export to other countries, we get income. So that is called foreign exchange. We are getting foreign money, and it eradicates poverty and unemployment. It removes poverty and unemployment. Countries that transform their raw material into a very wide variety of furnished goods of higher value, and are prosperous. That is, whichever countries they are using maximum of their raw material available in their country, and if they are manufactured, and variety of furnished goods of higher value, if they are manufacturing, those countries become prosperous. Location of industries. So here there are two factors for the location of industries. One is the geographical factors, another one is non-geographical factors. In geographical factors, what do we find? Availability of raw materials, availability of water, and good climate. These are the basic things which we want. Of course, land also is needed for starting an industry. So, but along with that, raw material, water, good climate is needed. So that's why these are considered as the geographical factors for locating an industry. Non-geographical factors: availability of electricity, cheap and skilled labor, transport and communication facilities, market, capital investment, and government policies, suitable government policies. Suitable government policies. So here, what are the suitable government policies available? Even that also will be considered. Now, in the industry, what are the main things required? First, raw material. We shall go with the raw material. In raw material, agro-based industries, and there are two types: agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. In agro-based industries, all the raw material will be from the agricultural sector or from the farmers, like say food grains like sugar cane, as we discussed, for sugar industry. Then oil seeds for manufacturing of edible oils, rubber, coconut pulp, and many others. The same way, mineral based are like iron industries, they need iron ore. Then that is from the earth, earth's crust. So that is mineral based industries. Aluminum, like that. Many more industries. Those who are based on those who do depend on the minerals are called mineral based industries. Main role. What is the main role of an industry? Basic or key industries, consumer industries. Here, basic or key industries means here, for example, a big industry which is manufacturing tires. You know what is tire? Tires are the ones which we are using for our automobiles, like car, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, and etc. So a tire manufacturing company is not directly purchasing agro-based rubber and bringing and manufacturing. It is depending on a smaller industry, where in that is called the basic industry. There in the basic industry, they are buying the rubber from the farmer, and then they are compressing it. They are making into sheets, which we also call as latex. These latex sheets are made, and then only they are brought to the tire industry. Like that, same with the steel factories also, iron and steel industries, the big industries. They will take the ore, they will do the processing, they will purify the ore, and then they will melt it and then prepare iron billets. We call it as billets. That is only long sheets, long poles like sheets they prepare, and then they are called the billets. And then these billets are purchased by smaller iron industries, and then they melt it again and mold it in the whatever shapes they require, like the steel what we want in the construction equipment. So they will, as per their sizes requirement, like 10 mm, 12 mm, 16 mm, 18 mm, like that they manufacture them by using those billets, and then they supply to the market. So these are all small, these are all considered as the basic industry. Consumer industries, just now I told you the example of iron and steel. Iron and steel, these re-rolling mills sell the ready goods for the consumer to buy and use it for various purposes like construction and all. So they are called as the consumer industries. Now next one is capital investment. What is capital investment? Small scale industries and large scale. The industries are divided into two categories. That is, one is small scale industries and the other one is large scale industries. Now when we discussed about steel manufacturing, the billets which are manufactured, they are all big nationalized industries like SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited, Tata Steels, or Vishakhapatnam Steels. Like that, there are different types of industries. They are all large scale industries, BHEL, and the various types of large scale industries are there. From them, smaller industries are different. So when we spoke about the construction steel, that comes under small scale industry. And then next is ownership. Ownership is here public, private, joint sector and cooperative sector. Public sector is maximum owned by the government and it is for the public. For example, SAIL, SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. So that is a public uh, industry. The same way BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electrical Industries Limited. So these are all public, means they are controlled by the government and then giving employment to the people and maximum benefits to the employees only. Private sector means owned by some individual or an organization like Tata Steels or many other in the Reliance, then many other industries like CR Arms and Birla. So many industries, they are all privately owned. Joint sector, few industries are joint sector, like half of it is privatized and half of it is public, that is owned by government as well as some other uh, private also. So that is called joint sector. Then next is cooperative sector. Cooperative is a group of people in and around their villages or something. They prepare a cooperative sector. They pull up all the investment and then they start a industry. Most of the sugar industries in our country are come under cooperative sectors. Then next one is bulk and weight of raw material and finished goods. Bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. Here heavy industries and light industries. Heavy industries means the industries which are working for with the heavy raw materials like iron and steel industry and ore industries, and in many other mineral industries generally are heavy industries. And light industries are where the raw material is very light and finished goods also, and they are directly consumable goods, most of it. On the basis of source of raw material, as per the raw material, the industries are based into two different ways. One is agro based and one is mineral based. Agro based, where we just discussed use of agricultural raw material. Only the raw material is of agriculture base, then they are called as agro based industries. For example, cotton, which is used for textile. So before going to the textile market, textile industry, there is a lot of process in smaller industries. That is, from the farmer, cotton is taken, then it is made into yarn, then it is spun into spinning mill, then it is taken and a cloth is manufactured. So weaving and spinning mills are there. And then sugar industry, as I told you, directly the farmer has to sell the sugar cane, whatever he has grown, to the sugar industry. And then tea industry, directly the tea leaves are plucked from the garden and then they are taken to the tea industry, where with the process they are manufacturing tea, coffee, same way, etc. Rubber also, as we discussed about the tire industry. Then mineral based, use minerals as raw materials. It uses in the mineral based industries, generally the raw material is minerals only. And for example, iron and steel, cement. In the cement, raw material will be calcium and other forms. They are again taken out from mining, calcium carbonate and other things. And then aluminum ore is extracted, then machine tools, etc., for which iron ore is used. According to their main role, basic and key industries and consumer industries. So supply their products on raw material to manufacture other goods. Already we discussed about it. The basic industries supply their products as raw material to manufacture other goods. Means here the basic industries finished goods become the raw material for the heavier industry. Example, iron and steel and copper smelting, aluminum smelting, etc. Consumer industry produces goods for direct use of by consumers. Directly it can be used. Whatever the produced goods are there, they can be directly used by the consumers. Example, sugar, toothpaste, paper, fans, soaps, etc. Small scale industries on the basis of the investment. This is decided on the basis of the investment. What are the basis of investment? Small scale industries and large scale industries. If the investment is less than 1 crore, then it is called a small scale industry. It is run by less number of people. It is run by less number of people. And remember, small scale industry investment should be less than 1 crore. Examples are Khansari, Gur. These are nothing but kind of sugar industries. Gur means jaggery. Khansari is a kind of sugar. Large scale industries, if the investment is more than 1 crore, then it is known as large scale industry. Labors are more here. They have workers more here. Example, cotton and textile industries. On the basis of ownership, public sector, private sector, we already discussed this. Public sectors are owned and operated by government agencies. Example, BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. You find so many logos of various public sector industries here, like Bharat Petroleum, Indian Oil, Bharat Sanchar Nigam, United India Insurance, ONGC, like that. So these are all public sectors owned and operated by government agencies. The same way private sectors. What are private? Owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals. Example, TISCO. TISCO means Tata Iron and Steel Corporation. Bajaj Auto Limited, Dabur Industries, Reliance Industries. These are all private sectors. Then joint sector, the industries which are jointly run by the state and individual or a group of individuals. Example, Oil India Limited is jointly owned by public and private sector. Cooperative industries, cooperative sectors. The industries are owned and operated by few operated by the people who are the suppliers of raw material, workers or both. They pool in the resource and share the profits and losses proportionately. Example, sugar industries in Maharashtra, coir industries in Kerala. They are all like they are only the suppliers and they are only the manufacturers. They pool up the investment and do the manufacturing, and then finally they share the profits also based on bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. Now, heavy industries use heavy bulky raw material and produce heavy materials. Example, iron and steel industry. These heavy industries completely, they have the raw material in a bulk way, so even the finished goods also the same way. Light industries. Light industries use light raw material and produce light materials. Example, electric fans, watches, sewing machines, and many other electronic goods, what they are manufacturing. Agro-based industries we shall study. Cotton textile. The first cotton textile mill was set up in Mumbai in the early 18th century. The cotton textile is mainly located in Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh also, and as well Gujarat. Because why? What is the reason they are mainly located in these areas? Because availability of raw cotton as black cotton soil is present in these areas in the Deccan Plateau area. Good transport facilities including port facilities. Ports are nearby because India is having large coastal areas. Availability of labor is also abundantly available, and the most important is good moist climate. Because of this climate, the farmers are able to grow much cotton here. Main exports, so India is exporting to Japan, USA, UK, France, Sri Lanka, Nepal, East European countries, etc. Cotton textiles is produced by three methods. One is handloom, that is the people themselves, they manufacture it. Power looms, they are used, the same thing, little improvised, where they are using power to increase the speed of manufacturing, means increase the output of manufacturing in lesser time. And then the mills, they are completely machine made. Cotton textiles industry involves ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, tailoring, packing to produce ready-made garments. So in a ready-made garment, first cotton textile industry, they involve in ginning. Ginning means first clearing all the cotton what has come from the farmer. They just lose it by putting in a ginning mill, and then they make it a fine cotton. Then they spin it. Once they spin, they get the yarn thread, and then they start weaving. Then dyeing is putting a color or washing it, and then designing, then tailoring, and then packing to produce the ready-made garments. Challenges to cotton textile industry: scarcity of good quality cotton. There is a What were the challenges faced for cotton textile industry? Scarcity of good quality cotton. Main cotton growing area went to Pakistan during our partition. Old machinery has to be improvised, they have to be modernized, but we are having all old machinery. Erratic power supply is not continuous. We have erratic power supply by which there is a low output of production. Then low output from labor also. Labor, why there is a low output? Because many of the laborers are unskilled. They need to be given training to become skilled laborers. Tough competition from synthetic fibers, because synthetic fibers also they are into the market, so there is lot of competition. Why? Because synthetic fibers, their finishing will be good, look wise they are attractive, so people are trying to buy synthetic fibers. These are the pictures of large scale textile industries. See, this is a map where you have all the cotton mills, woolen textile, silk textile, jute textiles. So I request all of you to take a map and do all this map work also. Then jute textiles. Jute also is very important. Before we got independence, India was the first country to have the highest jute production. But when when after we got independence, when we got our partition, so most of the jute industries and jute growing areas went to Pakistan, that is East Pakistan, presently what we call Bangladesh. Bangladesh is the first country which is having highest production of jute. Then second, India. India is largest producer of raw jute and jute goods. There are about 70 jute mills in our country. First jute mill was set up in Rishira, Kolkata in the year 1854. Jute is used in making rope, bags, carpets, etc. Most of the jute mills are located along the Hooghly River in West Bengal, because raw jute is available for West Bengal. Inexpensive water transport. A good network of railways, roadways and waterways to facilitate movement of raw material to the mills. It is very easy because all these facilities are available. Abundant water for processing raw jute. Lot of water is required for processing the jute. Cheap labor from West Bengal and adjoining states like Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand, etc. Kolkata is a large urban center, provides banking, insurance and port facilities for exporting the jute goods. Challenges faced by jute in India. Stiff competition in the internal market from synthetic substitutes. Nowadays, lot of synthetic substitutes have come. Most of the outside we see plastic, nylon, people are using more of that and they have reduced the jute usage. And we have a lot of competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt and Thailand. So what is the solution for it? So that is very important. Solution means now India is trying to bring lot of changes. It has given lot of schemes to the jute industries and they are trying to replace again jute into the synthetic goods like packing material and other things. Plastic and synthetic are not being used and they are trying to introduce jute. Now sugar industry. We shall discuss about sugar industry. India stands second as a world producer of sugar. India occupies the first place in the production of gur and khandsari. These are the primary parts of the sugar industry. The raw material used in the industry is bulky. What is it? It is only the sugar cane. It is the second largest agro-based industry after cotton. In 2010-11, there were over 662 sugar mills in the country, spread over Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana, and Madhya Pradesh. Most of the mills are poor as are near the sugar cultivated areas. Most of the mills are nearby. Why? Because there are two things. You studied in agriculture, right? What does sugarcane contain? Mainly, sugarcane has the glucose and sucrose. We call it as sucrose. If it is kept outside or after harvesting, if it is stored for much time, the sugarcane loses its sucrose. Then it will give less output of sugar. So that's why immediately they have to be transported to the sugar industry. And there should not be any change in the climate also. So major challenges. What are the major challenges? Include the seasonal nature of the industry. The sugar industries are they work for very less time in a year. They might work only for 3 months or maximum to 6 months. Why? Because whenever sugarcane is harvested, at that time only they will produce the sugar. So what happens? There will be lot of seasonal unemployment for the workers who are working in the sugar industry. We studied in economics about seasonal unemployment that is created more in these sugar industries. So that's why it is a major challenge. Old and inefficient method of production. So machinery is old and inefficient method. We need to bring a better technology from which we can make the production in lesser cost as well as in lesser time. Transport delay in reaching the cane to factories. So there will be lot of transport delay in reaching the sugar cane to the factories. So the factories have to wait for the sugar cane. Need to maximize the usage of bagasse. What do you mean by bagasse? Whatever the leftover remain in the sugar industry or the khansari or the good industry, they will have lot of residues left over. So these also are used for manufacturing alcohol. So for that they use. Earlier, what we call now, it stinks. That's why whenever you pass near a sugar factory, it will stink. You will smell very bad smell. What is that smell? The smell is of the molasses. That is a residue or the leftover fermented residue of the sugar cane. So that's why it smells like that. And that molasses is used for manufacturing alcohol. So all the liquor industries buy that molasses from these sugar industries. Earlier, UP and Bihar were the main producers of sugarcane. Therefore, most of the sugar mills were located in these two states only. But now, sugar mills are shifting towards Maharashtra and Karnataka because of following reasons. Per hectare production of sugarcane is higher in southern India. So now sugar mills have been shifted to the Deccan area also, like Maharashtra, Karnataka, because of many reasons. Per hectare production of sugarcane is higher in southern India than the northern part. Black soil is quite suitable for cultivation of sugarcane. Sugarcane generally is grown in red soil, but even black soil is also suitable for cultivation of sugarcane. So that's why they have shifted into the Deccan Trap also. Sucrose content of the sugarcane is higher in Maharashtra and Karnataka. So as we discussed, the sweetness or whatever is available inside the sugarcane, that is called sucrose, that content is more. That's why you get more juice from the sugar cane. If you take out juice from a fresh sugar cane, you get more juice than a stored one. The reason is it loses day by day, it loses the sucrose content. Mills and machines are new in southern states because these mills were set up after much longer gap, and they are new in the southern states, so their machines and technology is far better than the northern part. New and modern machines increase the productivity. They are increasing the productivity. Crushing season for sugarcane is longer in southern states. The cooperative sugar mills are running successfully in southern states. That's why more of production has increased in the southern states. Now, we shall stop with this here, and we shall continue in the second part. So, I request all of you to just go through the textbook, and please go through the textbook and underline the key parts, keywords, key sentences, and try to prepare your running notes, by which it will be useful for you to learn and understand the chapter. So we shall continue in the next part for this. Thank you.